Hello, everyone. James Wilson here. And today I'm going to talk to you about how I'm going to predict the 2024 presidential election. There's many factors that I have to gauge on who I think's going to win. And there's a few things I just want to go over real quick. Number one, I will take a look at the polling. And what I did was I took a look at 2016 polling and 2020 polling and see who overperformed the others. I also took in consideration ballot harvesting and the faith over fear versus stay home and be safe. We all know Trump overperformed some of those polls based on who answered the phone. And I also looked at the changes in how you vote. If there's more restrictions or if there's tighter voting, and I did take a look at that. Sorry, my computer's a little slow, but how voting has changed in the battleground states. Will make an impact on how I predict the election as well. And so I am so sorry this is not working here. Let me see if it'll pop up. Not really sure if it will. All right, so here we go. How voting laws changed in 2020. And you can read this. Let me see if I'll go back. Let's see. Okay. So it talks about, and this is the Bremen Center for Justice. This is probably more of a liberal site than conservative. But it does give some information. Now, obviously, this is done August 15th. So that is subject to change. You know, they could add some restrictive laws, or they can make it easier to vote, and they can change laws anytime, really. Obviously, it's getting crunch time now, so I don't see a whole lot of changes. I know Pennsylvania made a change since this has come up, but anyway, so this will tell you how that changed. So like for Arizona, 4 restrictive, 4 interface related, and 4 expansive. So it talks about everything. Overall, I kind of see that this is a little bit more restrictive, which is good for Donald Trump. Florida, I don't really care about Florida too much. I already have it for Donald Trump. Georgia, 2 restrictive, 1 expansive. Overall, it's a little bit more restrictive. So that's good for Donald Trump. Michigan, you can tell it's way more expansive, which is better for Kamala Harris. So I have to add a lot of points to the polling, if that makes any sense. Nevada, more expansive. We'll talk about that. North Carolina, nothing much really, like too restrictive. So it's not too bad. Pennsylvania, nothing at all. And I'm going to say North Carolina, not a whole lot of change. Texas, I have Trump winning that. Okay, Wisconsin, nothing at all. It's more of, they trying to make more restrictions in Wisconsin, which would be good for Trump. But the governor has completely blocked it. And so who's your governor is really going to help who's going to win this race, in my opinion. Because the Democrats, they'll do anything to win if they want to mail out a bunch of ballots and do ballot harvesting. And because they know that they can't get to the polls, these people are too lazy to get to the polls. They don't even want to work. So what makes you think that they want to vote? So anyways, what I decided to do is how I'm going to determine who wins this election is that I'm gonna do it based on the polling differences last time and add some to ballot harvesting and stuff like that if the state hasn't changed or if they've ballot harvested in the past and they're still going to do that. So I'm going to explain to you. I'll add and deduct points based on that. So Nevada, they do the mail-in ballots. R+2. That means that Trump would have to lead the polls by 2 points for me to predict him to be the winner. If he's up by less than 2 or down, I will predict Harris as the winner. It's just straight mathematics. That's how I'm going to do it. Arizona's even. One of the things that I looked at is who overperformed and who underperformed. Arizona does have more voter restrictions now than before, but the polling's pretty accurate. But as you can tell, the Republicans overperformed by 0.6. So, Biden must have been up by the polls a little bit more. I think he was up by 0.9 and only won by 0.3. So that's the polling difference right there. So when you look at the polling differences, there's only one outlier, and that's Wisconsin. So I'll talk about that. But there's not a whole lot of outliers. I mean, Trump overperformed most of them except for Georgia. And in 2016, Trump overperformed all the polls except for Arizona and Nevada. So overall, Trump overperformed, and I talked to you about this in previous videos, why he overperformed in 2016, because he naturally overperforms. And in 2020, the faith over fear versus stay home and be safe. People who are lazy, or not lazy, or maybe bored during the coronavirus, if they stayed home and be safe, they're more likely to answer the phone and do a poll for a poster. Republicans who stayed home are more likely to vote for Biden. Compared to Republicans that believed in faith over fear. Okay, so I that was a theory that I have. I'm going to stick to that theory. So the tipping point, I kind of was messing around the numbers a little bit, but I'll go over that. So I'm going to add the Democrats. I'm going to give, I should have probably reversed this, but I'm going to give the Democrats 2 points. So that means Trump has to win by 2 or more for me to give him the state. Right now, Harris has a 1.2% lead, so that would change to 3.2. And this is due to the mail-in ballots and the ballot harvesting that they're going to do in Nevada. That would benefit Democrats. In Arizona, I have it even because they did secure their voting more. And with the illegal immigration, I just feel like I'm just going to go with what the poll says. Right now, Trump is up by 1.3. And so if he's up, in a month or two, whenever I do my final prediction, I'll predict Trump to win that. In Georgia, same thing. Now, he underperformed in Georgia, but they did tighten the voting laws. Whatever the polls say is I'm going to give. Whatever the poll says. Right now, it's the tightest state, in my opinion, at this point. Georgia is the tightest. They restricted the ballot boxes and the mail-ins and all that kind of stuff. So I'm more confident in the polls in this one. The poll has been, pretty accurate in the last 2 elections. And, as I said, lazy people don't vote. And this is more of a minorities, Georgia. And I don't know how that's going to affect Harris. I know Biden would have lost for sure. But right now, I'd give it a tilt margin to Donald Trump. And in North Carolina, right now, I say that's even as well. Now, last time Trump did win, he's overperformed by maybe a point. But remember, you have the faith over fear people versus the stay at home and be safe. Nothing's really changed much on how they vote in North Carolina, so I just left that alone as even. Pennsylvania, R+2. Pennsylvania was even last time. I mean, Biden won by 1.2%, and the polls showed that Biden won by 1.2, and the results were 1.2. But they're still going to ballot harvest. They're still going to do their spiel. And so when you factor that in, I have to give Democrats an extra 2 points. So that means Trump would have to be leading the polls by 2 points or more in order for me to give him the state. In the state of Michigan, since they expanded, they're going to do their ballot harvesting. Trump did overperform a little bit. But man, the Democratic Governor Whitmer just absolutely annihilated the the other person running for governor, whoever that was. They expanded it so bad that in order for me to feel confident that Trump's going to win the state, he's going to have to win. He's going to have to be up in the polls by at least 4 points in order for me to pick him, because it's like they're going to have ballots all over the place. Like you're probably, in a janitor at a high school and you see ballots on the floor. I mean, that's how it's going to be, folks. So just be prepared for that. Probably Democrats going to win that state. I don't have it as a lock, but with the expansions, I don't see how it can be. And in Wisconsin, D+4. So last time, this is an outlier state. 2016, 7.2 and 6.0. I had to take in 2 points for ballot harvesting. I don't know how confident I am in this, but if the trend continues and Harris has to be up by at least 4. So I'm going to give Donald Trump 4 points for Wisconsin. As I said, I'm not entirely confident in that, but it's like when you look at the consistencies and you look in, and I have to assume that the polling when you call people on the phone in 2020 in all these states, the results are kind of similar. And so, he underperformed his last time by 1.2%. But he still overperformed by 6. And if I think the ballot harvesting gives a 2-point edge, then I have to take the 2 points away from the 6. So that's how I have it at 4. So based on that alone, the way this works is that Nevada is Democrats have the lead in Nevada. And I'm not going to do tilt and all that stuff. I'm just going to do it. Let's see. I'm trying to click on this here. Okay. And Arizona is Republican because he has the lead. And Georgia barely has the lead. He's holding on to the skin of his teeth. In North Carolina, it's the same way. He's barely winning North Carolina. And in Pennsylvania, right now, Trump is in the lead by 0.2. But I'm giving the 2 points to the Democrats because of the ballot harvesting. And in Michigan, easy win for Harris. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to figure out. Okay. All right. And Wisconsin's the tipping point state. Everyone's talking about Pennsylvania being a tipping point state, but when you actually look at the polling and the polling differences in both elections, you will see that Wisconsin, Harris is up by 1.8, but in the previous two elections, Biden was up by 6, and Clinton was up by 6.7. But Trump ended up winning by 0.7, so that's a 7.2% swing. So giving Trump 4 points, I think is pretty reasonable based on the polling differences. But you also have to account the ballot harvesting, the mail-ins, and all that stuff. And Wisconsin really didn't change their voting laws. It's pretty much like it's stuck in limbo. You know, you have the Republicans trying to restrict it, and then the governor of Wisconsin keeps vetoing it. So that by itself, that I guess that would be a prediction. That would be my prediction. I'm not overly confident in this prediction, but this is my prediction based on the numbers. Like and subscribe to my channel. Any questions, comments, or concerns would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Bye-bye.